Alrighty guys, what is going up? Welcome back to the Best Investing Money Management channel on YouTube. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the best stocks to buy during a crash. Now, you might be saying, well, Carter, isn't every stock a good stock during a crash because it sells off? Yes, but these stocks actually don't sell off as much compared to the general market. They're very, very stable companies, but still have an absolute long-term outlook that is beautiful. So the very first one that I actually want to talk about is probably one of the more popular ones on the channel. It's actually Home Depot. Now, Home Depot did sell off around 2.2%, but historically, every time there is a recession, Home Depot stock does not sell off as much compared to the general market. So if we actually look at the crash here in March, you guys can see it sold off around 12%, which you might be saying, well, Carter, that's a lot. But the general market sold off around 35%. So historically, during crashes, Home Depot actually performs really, really well. So it's a very stable stock that I would highly recommend everybody having. Not to mention, the beautiful thing about Home Depot is it's historically beat the S&P 500 on growth, and you get these beautiful dividend payments of $1.65. Historically, too, they've grown their dividend 125% in the past 5 years, which is by far fantastic. All right, moving on to stock number 2 is probably one of the more popular ones. It's Google. So Google is an absolute powerhouse. We all know that. Now, you might be saying, well, Carter, we all know Google isn't going anywhere. It sold off a little bit today, but why should I buy this stock, really? Well, if we actually go ahead and we go to the 3-year chart, you guys can see that Google did sell off around 28% compared to the S&P 500, which sold off around that 35% mark. So this one, too, is an absolute powerhouse. Given that it was a little overvalued on the RSI, we're probably due for a little bit of some sell-off for this one. But it's something really not to be too worried about. I think that this is a fantastic one to at least have in your portfolio. It has billions of dollars in cash, solid growth, no competitors, or very few competitors, I should say. It's just an absolute stable company that I would highly recommend buying. And if it crashes, buy more of it, and you guys will be just fine. Now, moving on to another fantastic one here is ticker symbol KR. This is Kroger. Now, historically, Kroger has done pretty decent. You guys can see over the past couple of years, they've had this beautiful upward trend, solid dividend payments, increasing dividends. And if we actually look for the 2020 crash, it may be hard to see, but the longest sell-off we've seen is right in here of only 15%. And that is beautiful. This is pretty much a fantastic value stock. This is one that Warren Buffett's buying or bought up because of how well it's performed. You know, dividend payments, beautiful growth. You know, the year-to-date return on this thing is about 28%, which may seem like, oh, well, Carter, that's not as good as the S&P 500. Yes, but it did hit highs here at 52. We just had a lot of sell-off here. So that sell-off brings a little opportunity to buy in. Not to mention, guys, you get that beautiful dividend growth here that I absolutely love. Now, the last one that I really want to talk about that I think, you know, is a fantastic company is the one and only Microsoft. Ticker symbol MSFT. Now, this one here, you guys can see, yes, we did get some sell-off here. Sold off that 27%, not as much compared to the general market. And the thing is the last crash, you know, a lot of tech stocks sold off a ton, but they also rebounded. So a lot of people, you know, there could be a little bit of, you know, some bias against it because a lot of people made some money, including myself. Now, this one is a little overvalued. You guys can see on the RSI. So that's one of the main reasons too why we got some sell-off, just like the general market. But the beautiful thing about this one is you have this stock that historically has beaten the market. You get these beautiful dividends of, you know, 51 cents, increase it to 56 cents. So their dividends growing, no major resistance other than this 305 mark. We'll probably see some support stepping in near and around probably 280. That'd be my guess, probably just above this resistance here. That old resistance will most likely turn into some support. This is just a stable company. You buy in, you hold it, does very well during recessions. You get dividend payments. and everything like that. But the moral of this video is, one, you may be saying, well, Carter, what makes a good solid stock when the company's or when the market's falling? Cash on hand is king. All of these stocks that I mentioned today have billions of dollars in cash, and only a couple $100 million, maybe in some cases a couple billion, depending on the company, they're in debt. And you might be saying, well, Carter, what does that even mean, right? If that's just say, a company like Microsoft that has around, 50 to $60 billion in cash, and they only have like 25 billion in debt, they have way more cash than debt. So they can actually go through a hard time, go through a struggle, and still actually come out on top because they have all that cash left over to reinvest it in the business if it ever slows down, continue to pay employees and grow. That's the absolute biggest thing with the overall crashes. Do I think we're due for a crash? No, we're due for probably a correction. And it's really nothing to be worried about. If anything, just buying on a discount. Over the past 90 years, the stock market's had that annual return of 9.8%. So whether the stock market's going up or down or consolidating, if you would have bought in the peak highs in 2007 or even the peak highs in March before the crash of last year, you'd be up on your money. That's the moral of investing. Have a long-term outlook. Don't look at sell-offs as something to be scared of. Look at it as like a for sale sign for all of your favorite clothes or cars or whatever you guys like, guys. So that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. And if you did, hit that like button and subscribe, and we will see you guys later. Remember to stay happy, stay positive, stay safe.